Good morning all. Welcome to the Oraculum podcast for NEC for Site Teams. I'm joined this morning by Chris Grimley of JMS Structures. Chris, I think it's fair to say, is my go-to planner when I have questions on planning or queries about how I might program something in. Me and Chris historically have worked together for quite a lot over many years, and he is, well, no doubt in my mind, an authority on planning. So I'm really pleased that he's agreed to join me this morning just to talk a little bit about his experience of program management. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Chris.
So the first question I had for you is, do you think contractors invest enough time in updating and producing the program properly?
Interesting question. The background I have is I've spent a lot of time updating programs, and I don't think they do. I think things, especially on site, things tend to take over other priorities, and the program doesn't really get thought about. On good sites, you get somebody who takes the program seriously and invests the time in, and then it comes back through the quality of the program and the information that's provided. But generally, I think other priorities get in the way, the day-to-day rather than the long-term planning. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Would you say in your experience contractors actually bring the planner into their site meetings enough?
Probably not. I think the issue is the allocation of the resource.
Yeah.
Planners tend to be allocated one day a week or a couple of days a month, and then they try and fit in around everything else, so they're not completely engaged. Sometimes the planner is an expensive commodity, so and they're quite difficult to get hold of, so getting that planner there at the right time is probably key. And they're an expensive prelim, so they don't want to be spent, or they want to be shared more often.
NEC is quite demanding of its program requirements. Do you think that forces us as contractors to become better programmers?
I definitely do. I think it does compared to other contracts, because you have to submit a program on the time that's stated in the contract, normally at least monthly, or whenever suits, or in advance if you need to. But yes, it definitely gives you time frames to submit your program, so it gives you something to work to. And now working in a subcontract world, they're a bit more flexible, I would say. But from a main contractor's perspective, yes, definitely you have to submit on time or provide information as to why you're not submitting that. It forces you towards a goal, at least.
Yeah, okay, no, I get that. Because if you go through the clause 31 and the clause 32, it does list out a lot of items, doesn't it, which historically we've probably not included in the programme. I think that would be fair to say. And then when you go through, actually, what do we need to do contractually now? I think in my experience, it's probably forced me as a project manager to think more about what I should be putting into the programme, particularly with key dates, etc.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think you have to reach an agreement to get, this is what the contract says you need.
Yes.
How do you see that happening? So I think previously you had health and safety information in there.
Yeah.
What do you deem as health and safety information?
Yeah, that's a question which comes up quite a lot actually, and what I really think that should be is submission of RAMs, but not every submission. It will be, a key submission for certain items, but I personally wouldn't put every RAM submission in there.
No, I think key things you put in there, you agree that in advance. So when you agree in your clause 31 programme, you almost say, this is what I'm going to give you. What else do you need? Is there anything else you're missing here? This is what the contract says. Do you deem there to be anything more that you want in there? It's about conversation, isn't it, and communication with your client.
Yeah, construction phase plan as well, that'd be another key one, wouldn't it, for health and safety information? Put that as a milestone at the top of the programme. Yeah.
We often find that there's, with health and safety information, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with this, but there's periods of time that people need to review things. I think it's those things that you need to build into a programme. Yeah. Anything that needs a review period, certainly with Network Rail or an external body, those sort of
third
things
parties.
go in
Very
there.
true, very true. Yeah, okay. Whilst we're talking of dates, there's several dates which need to go into an NEC programme. Sectional completions, key dates, planned completion, and the completion date. In my experience, planned completion, particularly if you're new to NEC, is often confused with the completion date. Could you explain the difference between planned completion and the completion date to us?
I can. This is a topic that comes up quite often. The simple thing is the planned completion is the date when you think you're going to complete. So the planned completion. This is normally in advance of the completion date.
Yeah.
The completion date, if you like, is a contractual date given by your client.
Yes.
It's normally in your contract.
Yeah.
Should be a set date in there. On a standard scheme, you'd have an access date or starting date, the works, planned completion when you think you're going to finish, and then the contractual completion, which might be 2 weeks later, say.
Yeah.
And then there's a period of time called contractor's terminal float, which is the difference between planned completion and contract completion.
Yes.
And if you take that principle for key dates and sectional completion dates as well, the way I would do that, your key dates or your sectional completion dates, you should have a planned date for that as well.
Yeah.
And then have the difference between the two. So every completion date you should have a planned completion date and a sectional or completion date, and there should be a period of terminal float between those, which the contractor owns.
We can only hope that planned completion is prior to the completion date.
Yeah, it doesn't always go that way, but
No.
yeah. But I think having those dates clear at the top of a programme is helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's key dates right visibly at the top of the programme, so you haven't got to search around for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found that, so when we were working together on the project some time ago, you had a little schedule at the top of the programme with all those key dates, completion, start, commencement, etc. And I just found that was a great little snapshot just to go straight to, rather than hunting to the programme of like, oh, where's this, where's that. So that's a great little tip. Moving on to tips. Mm-hmm. If you was to give a solid gold Chris Grimley tip for programme management, what do you think that would be?
I think it is be realistic. You want to have your programme needs to be a live document. It's got to be something that's useful that somebody could pick up and go, I'm doing that next week. I think it's really important to be, as I said, realistic. Your periods of time and allowances may flex, but what you really need to do is adapt that and be realistic. So what am I doing next week? What goes the week after? It allows you to plan better. If you put things that you think there might be 6 months in advance, you need time to plan for those. So if they're in the wrong position because you've got some extended allowances for doing an operation, it shows you're not starting for 6 months. But if you beat that by 2 months, brings back, and then you've got to procure all those things as well. Yeah. I would suggest your contractual allowances are what they are. You can have more terminal float if you need to, but be realistic. Put in your programme what you think you might achieve. I also think having one programme is better than having multiple programmes.
Oh, the time we've run the target programme and the client's programme, it gets very, very messy, doesn't it?
Yeah, so have one programme that everybody's working to and everyone buys into, I think.
I'm wholeheartedly behind that. I've done it a couple of times. We've had 2 programmes running, it just gets so confusing and takes up a lot of time as well.
Yeah. So if you're talking about resource and resource availability, running 2 programmes is very difficult. But if you've got one programme that is everybody's truth and you're talking about it as well with your client and getting their buy-in, that's a good place to be.
I like what you said about being authentic with the programming, because if you can demonstrate what you're putting down the programme is authentic, surely that can only help garner trust with the client.
No, I'd agree with that. I mean, you make a programme, sometimes you don't know some things, sometimes you make assumptions, and that's your best endeavours at that point in time with the information you've got, and then you just need to update things as information becomes clear. I think you've probably talked a lot about being open and honest about risk. Where does it sit? You know, who's responsible for that? The contract is what it is, and you've taken on certain risks, but put them on the table, and then you can help each other deal with these risks. So I think it's very important that you use your program as a tool to communicate that.
Yeah.
And understand where you are.
And you're absolutely right. The program is a tool. It is a project management tool, which I don't think we use enough really, because program feeds into everything, doesn't it? It's your cost plan, ordering materials, scheduling resource, etc. Without a robust program, you're really going to struggle to plan and manage your projects effectively, I would suggest.
No, I completely agree with that. I am a planner from background, so you've sold this to me, but I see that successful projects are the ones where people take on board the program, use it, update it, and get buy-in from everybody then. Where are you? What you're doing in the next 3-4 weeks and the longer term as well. It just helps so much for a successful project.
Yeah.
And it gets problems, it brings problems out before you get there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about baseline. What the hell is a baseline?
All right, so a baseline is a snapshot at any point in time, really. So we set baselines to sort of understand where we were at a point in time. Normally, we set in an EC speak, when we set the Clause 31 programme, we set a baseline. That's where the bars sit on the programme.
So the baseline is your start position then? What your original intent was?
Yeah. And the reason we put them on there is to show where changes occur, what is the impact of something. It's a good way of showing that something is delayed or it's going quicker than we expected.
Yeah.
And you can see where things have changed.
Chris Grimley of JS Structures, thank you very much.
You're welcome.